break them, they'll get everything, which is what they're getting right now.
Okay, over here. Over here. Come on up, what's your question? What's your question?
I had a question first. Thank you.
Do you have a question? Give it to her.
Sorry. I appreciate what you're doing right now. Latinos are afraid to go out and vote. So that's another thing we need to give them assurance. And for that, we need to help them and to get the Latino vote out. And we're setting up 2 offices in Riverside and Hemet, and we're going to go to their homes, help them vote, and we're here to help the Latino vote.
So let me say this about the Latino vote. Elected officials, politicians, care about votes, not people. And traditionally, the Latino community has been underrepresented in terms of their votes, which is why we registered in California over 500,000 Latinos in 2016, because we felt like for this community to be treated fairly, they had to show up at the polls.
But in Riverside, the voting places were closed in 2016. So
Really?
we have to do something about that.
Well, I will say across this country, one of the things that we are fighting the hardest is an attempt to take away voting power and privileges from Black and brown communities. And there's a specific, intentional, organized effort to stop people from voting, and we are pushing back across, just so you know, across the country. We're pushing back against that. So I understand, believe me, I'm 100% in your camp, and it's not, we've been doing it for years.
There's another question. We have a microphone here.
Tom, in many of our communities, we're facing the threat of not having safe air to breathe and safe water to drink. And a lot of the times when we complain, a lot of our community members get evicted from where they live. What are you prepared to do?
So, I have said that I will make climate my #1 priority, but I've also described our plan as specifically a justice-based plan. So we are going to organize it by going to the communities, often Latino communities, where the air is bad and where the water is undrinkable. And we're going to get leadership in setting policy from those communities, the way we do in California. And then we're going to get leadership in terms of execution. So when I think about environment, climate, clean energy, I think about California, where the leadership on all of those has come from Latino elected officials, from some of the poorest zip codes in this state, who have done it. You know, Eduardo Garcia, for instance, from Coachella, has done an amazing job. Kevin De Leon has done an amazing job. That's what we're talking. Look, this country has concentrated its air and water pollution in Black and brown communities. And we need to go to those communities to get leadership to actually design the policies to make sure when we're saving the world, we're also saving the kids in those communities, and we're changing people's right to pollute and poison human beings in this country.
Hi, I wanted to know your position. My name's Ruth. I'd like to know your position on the violent military coup in Bolivia and on all the violent sanctions against Venezuela.
So, what we're seeing in a lot of countries in our hemisphere is a breakdown in government. And as the biggest, strongest country in this hemisphere, I believe we have a responsibility to help those countries get back together, become more prosperous, and become safe for their citizens. So I think look, we can see people fleeing danger and chaos and violence in those countries. And if we want them to be in good shape, we're going to need to help those countries get back on their feet so people can stay there happily and safely. And that's my actual answer. We shouldn't do it unilaterally. We should help people from around the world to provide aid, support for those countries to get back on their feet.
Thank you, Tom.
Hi there, my name is Ozzy. I know systemically in the state of California, there's a lot of deficits when it comes to education, when it comes to the environment, and a lot of social programs. So my question to you is just how do you respond as a billionaire to the systemic issues that are happening in our state? And furthermore, what are your thoughts about taxing billionaires in a way that is equitable for our community so that we get funded for education, for social programs that we're in desperate need in the state of California?
So let me say to Ozzy, I completely agree with your analysis. I came out with a wealth tax more than a year ago, long before I knew I was going to run for president, because the inequality in this country is unjust, undemocratic, and unacceptable. So I would roll back all of the Republicans' tax breaks for rich people and big corporations, all of them. But I put in a wealth tax, and I've said that for more than a year. Look, there's the way that we know that these corporations own the government is that 90% of Americans have gotten screwed for 40 years. And all the money has gone to the richest people and the biggest corporations. We have to change the rules.
You bring in the rules to make sure that everyone's abiding by a certain tax that you're proposing right now, saying, great, hey, we've done the work, we're doing the work, and establish a wealth tax. But how is it that you're going to get other corporations or other billionaires to abide by this?
So he's asking how will we get them to abide? And the answer, honestly, is we're going to pass some laws, and if they don't abide, they're going to go to jail. That's how it works. I mean, one of the things that's true in this country is we need justice across the board, and we can't ask everybody to agree, and if they don't, but they're the law. And so when I look at, let me say this last thing I'll say. If you look at this country, we went through the mortgage crisis and they paid $300 billion in fines and no one went to jail. If you steal $300 billion, someone should go to jail. If you have drug companies conspiring to addict Americans across the board, someone should go to jail. And if you don't pay your taxes, you're going to jail every month. Okay?
That was the
No
last.
more questions, Tom.
There's no more questions. Thank you so
I'm
much.
sorry, we can't take any more questions. If you would like to talk with Tom, you can visit his website.
Thank you.
What's that
Thank you.
website, Tom?